Hello. Hello.
So I went to my niece's recital and graduation. She said she wanted to be a painter, dentist, superpowered princess. What did I say, dentist?
Mm-hmm.
I used to want to be a dentist. Before that, I wanted to be a super spy, like James Bond.
Okay.
There's this deductive reasoning class at my college. Excuse me. I didn't take it.
Right. Hi, I'm Hatter.
Hello there.
All right. You okay?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to
What happened?
the Drunk Doctor Who Heroes and Villains. We're talking episode number 53, and we're talking about the Mara.
The Hooniverse. We're in now.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to redo our graphics.
Nah, I'm good.
It's the...
Today is the 7th of May, 2024.
That's today.
Yeah, he's talking about the Hooniverse.
Tuesday.
Because we just watched...
Our first modern, colorized,
yeah, we watched
remastered...
We watched the Daleks, cut down, edited, and colorized.
Is this by Bad Fox? Was it Lone Fox? Bad Wolf.
Bad Wolf.
That one.
But no, they didn't do it. The BBC did it, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, instead of a movie for this, we watched the Daleks, and we'll talk about that a little bit. All right. Anyway, at the beginning, Russell T Davies is trying to make Doctor Who into some sort of giant universe, the Hooniverse, and they have that at the beginning of the Daleks colorized version. They show bits and pieces of stuff, including Shutai Gatwa, and then they have the Hooniverse.
You know, the whole point of that, clever titling is that the one word leads into the other.
Mm-hmm.
But this doesn't do that. Universe doesn't begin with an O. It doesn't even sound similar. It's so weird.
All right. So, all right. What are you drinking today?
Something new. Twisted tea, half and half.
All right. And I'm drinking vodka, which was actually
Was it
some new from you.
Chinook?
Chinook vodka.
That sounds like a Mortal Kombat character.
Distilled from grain produced in Ukraine.
Like,
So, my favorite vodka is Russian Standard. This was cheaper. I thought I'd give it a try.
Ukrainian.
Because Ukrainian, I figured I'd check out the other side of the conflict.
I think
And it's not quite as good.
Chinook is...
But it's still good, but not as good as Russian Standard.
I just forgot his name. Kano. Kano's cousin.
Chinook.
Ukrainian cousin. I think there actually is a Mortal Kombat character called Chinook.
I don't know.
Like a dragon priest. Oh, hello there.
Yeah. All right.
I didn't see you.
Yeah,
Welcome
right.
to this thing.
We've already done that.
So we're talking about Mara.
The Mara.
I think I might need a recap on the Mara.
Okay, they were in two serials.
Two of them.
Right, and two of Tegan's best serials, actually.
Tegan.
Yeah.
So this was...
They were in. Was it Kinda?
Kinda.
Kinda.
This was Davison or Baker?
No, this is the Fifth Doctor. Davison,
Yeah.
Okay. Snake Dance.
Snake Dance.
Yeah, I think Kinda and Snake Dance.
Oh! Here's the new movie list I made.
Oh, yay! Excellent.
I made this like several months ago, so it's probably not up to date.
Okay.
Movie list 2.0. And I think I have a 3.0 around here somewhere.
Well, compare it to the other movie list, and
2.0 cross reference.
Yeah,
that's my job.
All right, so these are people. These are snakes that we find out in the first one. Ends up becoming a giant snake. They kill with the mirrors. Remember?
Yeah.
And then in the second one,
because it hates its reflection.
Something like that. Yeah. Medusa-esque.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, Snake Dance, they've got the people in the mirrors where Tegan goes and the whole mind screw thing.
And the snake tattoo.
The snake tattoo, and they take her over, and she takes that other guy. She gets that other guy and takes him over.
So this is the same planet we see Mara on 2 separate times.
Yes.
And it's kind of that sci-fi trope of it's been a long, long time. So long that the first time it happened, people are like, "Oh, that's a folklore. That never really happened."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you think of them as villains? I mean, in the first one, they've only shown up twice, but in the first one, they're not. I mean, there's no real depth to them because they're just the snake.
Exactly.
And the one guy who kind of gets taken over mentally by the snake, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Who tries to convince everybody to follow him.
Yeah.
So it takes him over, but to me it's much more interesting in the second one where they've got the temple and the cave and they've got the lore and they've got the archaeology.
It like transformed into mythology.
Right. A whole religion.
Yeah.
In fact, a whole culture built around it, And
they put on plays and the holidays.
Right, and Tegan goes into that null space and meets those people, and to me that one was Snake Dance was much better version of that than
expanded upon it. I'd agree with that. So the first one, the serpent doing the mind control thing. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a thing we see with snakes a lot, and the mind bending. Robin Hood or the hypnotizing snakes or whatever.
But we see that trope of something taking over somebody. When they use it in the second one, when she comes back with the tattoo, but it's much more sophisticated.
Yeah, and exactly that. So it might have been novel at some point, but it really didn't bring anything new to the table. And they had done mind control so many times. So the first time we see Tamara, it's kind of just like, oh, this plot point again, more mind control. But the second time, it kind of fleshes out the lore behind how that works.
Right. Now, Kingda does have its benefits. I love the guy going absolutely bonkers in the control station.
Yeah.
It got just flipping his lid. Yeah. And the whole idea of the Kingda was interesting. But in terms of the Mara,
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. In terms of the Mara. Mm-hmm. They're much more developed and interesting in the second one. Yeah, in Snake Dance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So anyway.
Oh wait.
Huh?
I have a new question.
Oh no.
Do we ever see the Mara again?
Nope.
Okay.
Not thus far.
I don't usually ask that, so I thought I'd.
All right.
Never again. Not yet.
Right. Okay. So we
think we will. Will we what?
I was just
come back to that.
I don't know if we'll ever see the Mara again, although it would be neat.
That would be neat.
Yeah. All right. So we watched the Daleks in color.
We did.
All right.
New edit
down version.
They put in like montages. The pacing was really weird.
Pacing was messed up.
It was confusing because they kept like, entering a new scene. They cut out the setup scene. So all of a sudden they have this thing that you have no context for. And then they kind of slip in the explanation of, oh, remember when I pulled this camera out of the wall?
Yeah. Yeah. But they didn't even do that for the camera. Yeah. But there are other scenes where they do a lot of that. And they have a weird chase montage, and the music wasn't that great.
Well, like, he's just holding it, and it's like a Dalek's eyeball. And the next scene, you're like, what is that? Where did you get that from? And he's like, So this camera here, and you're like, oh, I guess they ripped the camera out. They didn't explain any of that.
He didn't show camera. He's just, I can use this to prop the door open.
Yeah, he's talking about like the lens or something.
Oh,
stick that up.
Yeah. Okay.
It's weird.
I understand what the BBC is trying to do. They are trying to get modern viewers who are not willing to sit down for even a feature-length film.
Yeah.
You know, ADD TikTok stuff.
6-second content. Where
Right.
have you seen those videos for like everyone is attention deficit now, so they have the commentary video, which is like the audio that you listen to, and then they have a second video under it, which is just visual nonsense of like some video game racing or so it's like they have the visual thing to engage you while you're listening to the video, so you won't scroll off and
No, I'm not on TikTok. I will never get on that thing.
That's a big thing. They're doing it on everything now. YouTube, you'll notice it. It's like Temple Runner down here for you to look at, and then they're reading like Reddit comments up here.
Okay, weird. Alright, so anyway, okay, so the original was 7 episodes. Once you take out the intro and the outro and the little recap, you're looking at about 20 minutes. So that's 140 minutes or almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So what they did was they cut it down, edited out a bunch of stuff. Some things should have been left in to make more sense.
Yeah.
Like it's 75.
Decision making behind that. It's like, why did they decide to cut that out but leave this scene in?
Right. Well, you have to have some tension, but they take out all the filler, but they take out more than the filler. It should have been 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I think at 90 minutes, you could have left in the things to explain certain things that needed to be explained.
Exactly, because you talked about how we feel like their goal is to bring in a new audience. So that's what's important for, introducing people into the Whoniverse, is kind of explaining this is the TARDIS, this is the Doctor and his companions.
Yeah.
But instead, it felt like they didn't edit it like that at all. They just kind of skipped through a bunch of the explanation. It felt more like they were making it for the people who are already fans of Doctor Who and had already seen the original and knew what was going on. Because otherwise, it's confusing.
They're making it for fans of the new stuff, trying to get them to look at the old stuff.
Yeah.
Saying, look, you don't have to spend 140 minutes on this. You can spend 75 minutes on this, and we've taken out all the filler because it was, we know you think it's too slow in plotting the episodes in the 60s.
Yeah.
But once again, we already had the Peter Cushing movie for that. So, it was already in color. It was already the same story, and it was already about 75 minutes.
Yeah.
They could have just left that, and the colorization was okay.
Mm-hmm.
One perfect. Colorizing did Barbara and Hartnell no favors.
No, or Ian. They all looked
No, Ian looked okay.
splotchy and older and
Yeah, you notice they
less joyful.
gave Susan some freckles.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I noticed Barbara's hairline was looking, kind of like her roots were graying, like she colored it.
I don't
A
know.
little thin.
I didn't notice that. But anyway, I will probably buy the other stuff they do just to watch it. But man, it's not the best product at all. If you want to see the Daleks, just buy the original.
I mean, this one was worth it. You're going to rewatch it several more times.
Just once on Sunday with the main group. Right. Now, to be fair, in the packaging...
Is that still within the return window? Can you get your money back if you only watch it twice?
No, it's time, not that. And it has to be on the one. Alright. I'm not the guy to buy a suit, wear it once, and take it back.
Have you seen that trend on Steam? Where they have that 48-hour return window or 24 hours or something? Or, no. It's like so many hours of playtime. And then there's this one short, really popular game. This one guy was like, if I could beat it within the whole game, like finish it within the return window, which is like 2 hours, I think, of playtime. He's like, and then I'll return it and get my money back. And then he like tweeted that to the game developers.
Make longer games.
Yeah, they're like, go for it. I guess.
Alright, But anyway, okay, inside the packaging, you have the Blu-ray of that, but they also do include the disc of the original The Daleks, all 7 episodes.
Wow.
They haven't changed anything to it. It's the same thing that's on, the actual original release. But at least they give you the option to go ahead and watch the original in the same packaging, which I thought was nice.
So, well, I think there are a few different design choices and like you're talking about with the differences between the re-edit colorized version of the episodic one, the serial, and the theatrical re-release with new sets, new actors, Cushing.
Yeah, Peter Cushing. But that's a better version of this.
It is.
Because everything it makes sense, and you don't have these weird montages of chase scenes and other oddball stuff.
Exactly, and I feel like that's because they're making it for different targeted audiences. It, like you're talking about earlier, this one is for the people that watch the new stuff. They're trying to pull them into the old stuff. It's internal advertising with their current fan base, whereas the first cinematic release was like, hey, this Doctor Who character is really popular with this audience, right? We need to grow the audience, bring in new people who hadn't seen the show before.
I agree with you. However, I don't think this is a good enough product to necessarily make fans of the new stuff want to watch the old stuff. Okay.
Targeted audience, not done well.
Yeah, so the music was really strange. They had some 60s weird music in it. The whole... They constantly kept flashing back to stuff, which is nowhere in the original. That was really weird. It's like...
They're like, we didn't explain this earlier, so here's a quick recap.
Not even that. It's like here, we're not gonna tell you some things, but we're gonna spoon feed you other things. As in, remember that package we got outside the TARDIS? Yeah. And they show them getting that package outside of the TARDIS, rather than just going, we're going to not tell you everything, but we're going to tell you the stuff you should already know from watching the film.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like they're replicating the show's pacing. Because the show is like, hey, remember this thing from a few episodes ago, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. But this, you're watching it in one setting. It's like, you don't have to flashback.
Yeah.
And then, it's like they were prioritizing building tension and not really explaining anything or giving it context. They're just trying to make it more tense. They're like, here, let's focus on this scene.
Yeah.
But then this whole arc where they're, escaping from prison, and that's really tense, but then they're like, it's too long. We'll just turn that into a montage.
Okay.
You'll be kind of confused. A Scooby-Doo kind of sequence.
I tell you, it does feel like the 1960s in it, which is when the original was filmed. But not for good reasons. The weird colorization, like some of the color choices, right? Some of the editing, the pacing, the funky music and the montages. It reminded me a lot of the Casino Royale movie. Not the modern one, the bad one from the 60s that with Orson Welles in it, and
kind of like a parody.
Yeah,
we don't have to spend a lot of money on this. It's just kind of
it was very, very, like you said, Scooby-Doo-ish. It's just odd, but
it's tropey, like from that era, low budget, lo-fi.
I'm kind of curious to see. Now I'm kind of curious to see what the Daleks Invasion of Earth version is like, to see if they improve upon it. Yeah. And I don't know how many of these are going to do because...
Make a better product. Well, I'm sure it relies on the sales from the previous one. Like, if this one does okay, they'll... But they have to have done so many already, right? Because they showed kind of like a trailer of other episodes.
Okay, they're showing the old stuff from the first 2 Doctors in the trailer.
And they're colorizing.
Right, well, they're colorizing the trailer. Yeah. But I don't think they've gone back and colorized all the old stuff.
My favorite part of this remaster is I feel like the audio was cleaner.
Okay.
And that's about it. That's my only...
My favorite part...
That's the only part I like more.
My favorite part was they did an interesting job of showing what was going on in the one place, the Thals, with what was going on in the second place with the Daleks, by having, which they never had previously, the Daleks watching the Thals on their screens, and you're finding out they basically cut two scenes together and managed to creatively get twice the plot drugged through those scenes. You know, I thought that was a good way to do it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, you were surprised the Dalek bumps were blue?
So, Ray, we're talking about how are these colors accurate? How did they know what color it was? Were those bright orange buttons? You're like, well, I'm sure they could have talked to Ian and he could have told them, what the set looked like. But some of it feels like they intentionally changed it to kind of come up with a new
color contrast.
Yeah, a new palette. Because you think about how they did production when it was black and white. They didn't really design sets and stuff around color because that's not on the recording anyway. So,
sometimes they did, but sometimes they did, but they did it to
accentuate the black
and white
to make it look like another color. So, like Psycho, he used chocolate syrup instead of for fake blood because it's black and white.
Because it looked the exact same.
Yeah. So it could be. So they kind of put in blue, a lot of blues. They tinted stuff blue. They have blue lighting, the blue Dalek pimples, and eye stalks, blue
Dalek bumps, and I will eventually show you where that term comes from.
The Dalek bumps?
Yeah. Curse of Fatal Death.
So those are, I always thought the Dalek bumps were kind of similar looking to the TARDIS roundels. It's just kind of like a pattern that kept popping up, was like little bumps and roundels. And
yeah.
Like, just specifically in the Hartnell era, it's like, this is what the future looks like. This little bubble wrap.
True.
Well, only if you spray paint it green, though.
All right. Any more questions about the Mara or comments about the Daleks colorized and edited?
Nope.
Okay.
Don't think so.
All right. Didn't care for the edit. If you're going to watch the Daleks, watch the original.
I mean, it's good for like a recap, but it's not... How much did it cost? Whatever it costs, it's not worth it because it feels like a YouTube quality type edit recap thing.
Well, I'm sure the budget to do that wasn't great.
Yeah. It's not like they're re-releasing a cinematic version with new sets, new actors. It's like, it kind of felt like a cash-in. We already had this footage.
Agreed.
Splash some color on it, re-edit it.
But to be fair,
use it as advertising.
The BBC is not producing a ton of new Doctor Who content. They're making 8-9 episodes a year. Okay, you get your 8 episode season, and then you get a Christmas special.
So all they have is like
8 episodes. Right. So they're going through the old stuff and releasing them all on Blu-ray, and they're animating the missing episodes. They're doing that, but you know what? Eventually, they're going to run out of all of that. I figure around 2028, 2029, they're going to run out of all the old stuff to reanimate or that. And then they're going to have a very slow release rate after that.
Yeah, making stuff like The Hobbit, where it's like a children's book they stretch into 3-hour-long movies.
It should have just been 2. Yeah. Anyway, join us for our next episode when we will catch you up on Doctor Who news, and in a minute. And we'll talk about Lytton.
Lytton.
Yeah, one of the more interesting
the
baddies.
Dalek guy.
He's both a hero and a villain.
Bobby Baddie.
Yeah.
Baddie Bobby.
Alright, you ready?
Baddie Bobby Baddie.
Boom.